Hello there, I'm Jimmy Vegas. This is how to create a Grand Theft Auto style game in Unity, and welcome to episode 32. In this tutorial, we're going to do a little bit more of the UI, and we're also going to start creating some named areas in the game, as well as making them flash up on screen with the UI. Don't forget, click the subscribe button and click on the bell icon as well to stay up to date with every tutorial still to come in this series, and everything else on game development on my channel. With that in mind, let's get to work. So far we have quite a few different things on screen with the UI, and I want to put in the bottom right corner, it flash up to say this is such a place in our city. So to do that, we're just going to simply add another text object. So game object, UI, text. And again, you can kind of customize this to whatever level you want. It's your game at the end of the day, but I want to kind of just go with somewhat simple. So I'm going to leave it blank for now. In fact, I won't leave it blank just for now. Let's actually set the text white so we can see what it's going to look like. I'm also going to add that font that we brought in from, was it last tutorial before? So it's a little bit squiggly, so it is a bit reminiscent of what you would see in GTA 5 at least. Let's make the font size a little bigger, so let's have this as 30. Is that too big? I think 30 is probably too big for us at the moment. Let's go 24, and let's have that about there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make up a fake name, okay? So let's say North Las Meadows, and anyone who's who knows anything a little bit about Spanish, as it were, may know what that means. So I'm going to pull that out and expand the game view. So we can see that although it looked okay in our scene view, because it appears down the bottom when we had the game window small, when we expand it, it's here. That's no good. So all that means is we just need to change the anchoring. But that's always a good way of seeing what it would look like at full screen if you uncouple the game tab and expand it. So let's anchor it down here. And I'm now going to delete that. And let's rename this text object to location name. And I'm going to bring this next to cache count. And obviously remember the fact we still need fade in, text and fade out at the bottom. That's important because it will cover everything behind those UI elements. So just remember the ordering in the canvas. So how do we go about setting up so as when we walk into one particular part of the city, it will flag up to say that this is North Las Meadows or South Las Meadows? Let's do that in a script. So we can use the same script for multiple different places in the city. We don't have to create one single script because we can actually use a string basically to create the name, and then we can change that name in whatever object it's attached to. So in the open world, we have that AA opening. Now, I'm not entirely sure whether we should really have it in the open world or whether in UI, because logically these scripts are going to be all over the open world, but it's going to be UI based. So I'm thinking maybe we should just keep it in UI because it is the main element of the script. So right click, create, C# script. We'll call this location display. And let's open that up in Visual Studio. So the general idea of how this is going to work is that we can customize whatever the name would be at any given time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of void start and void update because we do not need them. So the first variable we're going to need is the actual UI element we've just created. So let's add that in. So public game object. And let me think, what should we call it? Let's just call it location name, I guess. And because we're going to use that UI, I don't know why I said I, UI element, we need to add in the namespace. So at the very top, using Unity engine dot UI semicolon. And next, we need to add in a string. Now, the reason we're going to use a string instead of actually typing the name itself into the script is simply because we can then type the name on the game object it's attached to on the script. You'll see when we do it in the inspector panel. So as long as we have a string, we should be okay. So public string, and we can call this anything we want. In fact, you know what? Now I think about it, I'm thinking we should probably change location name to something else. Let's have location display. And remember that if you are using that, you will have to have that L as a lowercase, because if we have that as an uppercase, it won't work because that is the name of the script. It will basically just confuse itself. So now I'm thinking we should probably call this string location name. Semicolon. So this is all going to be done via a trigger, so much in the same way as we have with our gun, for example. So we'll have void on trigger enter, and then it's got collider other. So I'm going to delete private because it doesn't need to be private and head back into Unity. Now, if I double click on contract killer, in fact, I don't even need to double click, do I? Because we've already set the tag. I believe we set that when we did the pistol, I think. So we're still going to have to refer to that tag because we need to check that it's only the player that is going to cross this particular trigger area. So inside on trigger enter, we need to say if, and in brackets, other dot tag equals player, then do the following. So what we're going to do here is set up a little sequence to display the on-screen name and then remove the on-screen name. And what I'm thinking is maybe we should actually do an animation of all of this. So while we're at it, let's go to location name and let's go to animations, UI, and then let's create that quick animation. So by default, I'm going to have the color set as 0 on the alpha. And now we have that set, let's go to animation, create, and let's have this as location display, and then save. And next thing we need to do is press record and set that first keyframe again, which means basically just change the alpha, do that what I do, just flick that around and then set it back to 0. And then after 60 frames, we will set that as full 255. And then we'll display it for 5 seconds maybe. And that'll be 360, which means we keep the alpha as 255, but flick it around a bit so it actually sets a keyframe as 255. And then 60 frames after that, which will be 420, we want the alpha to be 0 once again. So basically that fades in, displays for 5 seconds, fades out. So stop the recording, go back to project, let's go to location display and untick loop time. We only want to play it once. Head to the animator, make sure we have location name actually clicked, otherwise it'll display something else. Right click, create state, empty, and then we need to set as default state. So that new state is going to be the default. So we can only ever trigger this location display via script. So let's head back to that script and we're going to say if other.tag equals player, then what do? We display the name of where we are. So let's have location name, not location name, location display. So location display dot get component, spiky brackets, text, open close bracket, dot. In fact, now I think about it, we're not setting this, are we? Because we're already setting it in location name. See, now that's clever. So actually, yeah, we can do that. So text equals location name semicolon, and because it's a string, that's why it's fine. We don't need to put the quotes or anything. Get myself a bit muddled up there. So once we've set that location name, that's all good. We then need to display the animation. So underneath, we'll have location display dot get component, put a capital L, and I shouldn't have done, location display dot get component, spiky brackets, animator, open close bracket, dot play. Then in brackets and quotes the name of our animation, and I'm actually going to copy the name of the animation rather than type it, simply because I don't want to make any spelling mistakes. So by default that will work no problem. What I would like to do is go a little step further and create a small coroutine which will basically reset that after the 7 seconds that it takes. So the 1 second to fade in, 5 seconds to display, 1 second to fade out. After that 7 seconds, I want it to reset. So as when we cross into a new area, it's no problem. We can just use the exact same script. So for that, let's go enumerator, and we'll call this reset lock, short for location, open close bracket, open curly bracket. And at this point, what we'll do is yield return new, wait for seconds, and we'll wait for 7. And after that, I'm going to copy this line of code, and I'm going to change that to new state. So that is that extra animation that we created up here, which basically resets the animation. It allows us to replay this animation, the location display, at a later date on a different object. And at the same time, I'm going to say location name equals double quote to clear it. Finally, let's set the line of code to trigger that coroutine. So start coroutine, and in brackets, reset lock, open close bracket, semicolon, and save. And if you have any problems with the script at all, you can get it on my website. If you head over there, downloads and assets, Grand Theft Auto, and it'll be there under tutorial 32. So let's attach this to some triggers in our game. So let's double click on our main player to zoom in a little. And I want to trigger, let's say, somewhere here to say that this is now south. So let's add a game object, 3D object, cube, and let's expand the cube all the way across the street. So it doesn't matter too much if it intersects other things, because only the player can trigger this particular object. We need to tick is trigger and untick mesh renderer. And let's attach that script to the cube. So drag and drop. And now location name, we'll call this South Las Meadows. Location display is going to be this one here. And now we think about it, I think I'm going to change that as well to location display. Keep everything uniform, you know. So what's going to happen here is whenever we cross this cube now, we should have this flag up at the bottom of our screen. And I'm going to rename that. I'm going to put South Display. And I'm going to organize this a little better. So what I'm going to do is game object create empty, drag it to the top, and place it beneath world mechanics just there. And we'll have location trigs. And then we'll have that south below there, so we can kind of keep it a bit more organized. And now let's press play. And let's make sure that it flags up on our screen South Las Meadows. Hopefully it should be okay. There we go. Bottom of our screen. South Las Meadows. Now there is one other thing that I'm thinking we could possibly do. I'm not entirely sure. I'm thinking we should probably disable the box collider in the script at the same time, simply because we don't want to re-trigger it over and over and over. So if we have this dot game object dot get component, spiky brackets, box collider, open close bracket, dot enabled equals false. And obviously we have to reset that at the very end of our coroutine. So we will do that there and type true and save. Now the same principle can be applied for this particular object. So if we duplicate this object, hold Control, press D, and let's drag it over here, and we'll say that this is now the north area. So let's bring it up to the top. And we'll call this north display. And obviously we will change this down here to say north. And there we go. So we can use that object over and over in different areas to determine whereabouts in the city we are. And it will always flag up in the bottom right corner. Before we go, I think we should actually remove this one line of code, the location name. Now I think about it, we don't actually need to reset that, do we? Because every time we go into a separate trigger, that will reset anyway up here. So yes, best to change that, save the script, head back out, and you shouldn't have a problem there. So next tutorial, what I would like to do is work on the bottom left corner. And what's going to go there? A minimap. So we're going to work on a minimap in the next tutorial. Until then, guys, thank you very much for watching.